But that is not enough. We need to have a center for research for the faculty, which will speed up the whole process of research management within the faculty. Becomes the link of the university as well as what the industry. We need to collaborate with the industry. We need to enhance government policies. So how do we do it if we only exist waiting for the high-tech or the projects unit, which is focusing on the whole university? So let us bring the management of research down to the center in the faculty. Anything dealing with research is at the center. That will promote, this is what most best universities are doing, those which are research intensive, from unit to the center. And there is a process of doing that. So I think that is the most important thing in the management of research at universities. So I don't know whether some of you will agree with me that we need a center like yesterday in the Faculty of Management Sciences, which is a research center. Others call it centers of excellence, which will deal with all the issues of research within the faculty. Those who have been in the management of research, they can vouch with me the nightmare that we get from department, the process, that same bureaucracy which were discussed in the end management from the department, within the department to the faculty higher degrees committee, from the faculty higher degrees to the higher degrees committee. And these are committees in terms of governance. They follow a specific calendar. They don't just sit at any time. So maybe they sit 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year. And that has implications when it comes to the management of research within that period. And we are supposed to satisfy our customer. Who is our customer? So this is the question now. So in that center of excellence or center for research, we want to use it also as an incubation center. Because the research is done for the community. Universities are constructed on the basis of what's serving the community, not merely for the academic. We are supposed to serve the community. So we will need to have an incubation center within that center, which is a small segment that will collaborate with the community outside. How do they do it? I can give you a simple example. Some of you are parents, some are guardians. The child wakes up every day. I dreamt about this thing looking like this, flying and doing this. You say, hey, don't play with me, I have so many important things. You chase the son and the daughter. Tomorrow the daughter comes again. Did you know that thing I told you yesterday? It was looking like this and this, what is for it? Don't play with me, don't want games. We chase ideas. These are novel ideas. Developed countries went through that. Take that child, bring the child to the university at the center of excellence, where we have the incubation center. Sit with the researchers there. The researchers now will say, okay, can you tell us how it looks like? Are you able to put it in something and so forth? I can tell you something. The child now was developed the earliest imaging system. We used to go when you want to do X-ray, go inside. Now we developed the nice one. You just pick from there, and then it works like that. It's 15 years. I spoke to him in David, and I tried to understand how does he do it. He said, I brought my idea to the center, this is what happens. And Mercedes-Benz come in to support the child. He's a millionaire already. The new imaging system is there in the hospitals now. 15-year-old, but coming from dreams, but we chase them out. So basically, I feel that as a faculty, in the absence of this center and establishment of units within our departments, which cross-pollinates with the other departments to create a multidisciplinary unit. We are not going anywhere. And we will continue moving with the same confusion of research management, and which creates problems. All those things which the HDC is doing, further higher degrees is doing, department is doing, becomes the responsibility of the Center of Excellence or the Research Center in faculty. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for that. Yeah, time-wise, you gave it very well. Thank you so much, bro. Let's allow maybe questions. Let's allow 2 questions. It can be a comment or a question. Please, let's engage. It's an engagement forum. Right? We have. Can I have the second one from Prof? Anybody? Okay, so only one question. All right, Prof, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Matikura. Good morning, colleagues. I like the idea of the Center of Excellence that you suggested. One of the things that I felt that we have not done, but I think that's because it's still very early, the fact that 2 faculties have merged, and I see a lot of opportunities for synergy. I'm sure if we get together, we'll be able to collaborate on research, transdisciplinary research. I think as an associate dean for research, maybe this is something that you can spearhead, that you can already start putting into place, invite people so that we, we brainstorm ideas. Because one of the things that Pastor Ryan's mentioned was that if you want to apply for funding, then you have to start talking, start having a conversation, start preparing your proposal at least 1 year ahead of the time. So I think what you should do is call for a meeting, appoint a few people in the committee, then we can brainstorm and then come up with ideas and then already start working on proposals. So when the time comes, then we just submit the proposal and get funding. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Indeed, that's the way forward. Going ahead, we need to do that. We need to engage and become one big entity. Think alike, walk alike, talk alike, everything becomes one. In so doing, we will succeed. I think he gave a very good example about success in the morning. So together we can, and yes, we can. So with this center, is the one which coordinates all the research activities in the faculty. We have no problem. No problem, and research will become interesting. And those in their own silos will also open up and see that there's something happening in the center. And we'll try now to focus more, moving slowly from basic research which we are doing in the faculty to try to move more into applied. I'm not saying there's no applied, it's there, but it's few. So we want to grow each one of us and then move that way and we become better in that.
Thank you very much. Prof, another hand of applause, please. Indeed, that was the voice of Prof. Labo Matikura. For those who have joined us, welcome to the research day of the Faculty of Commerce, Human Sciences and Education. Let's engage in engagement. We want to learn from one another and also see how we can collaborate together. Based on our program, we'll have Dr. Sylvia Pero. She's a lecturer in the communications department, specifically languages. So now that you are here, some of us are already with the language. Are we on point or are we? Yeah. I never knew that I would study languages until I joined Polytechnic that time. primary, high school, English or just English. Don't study until you get university, you discover, oh, okay, you need to revise your notes on English. She will present on training teachers for the VUCA world. Training teachers for the VUCA. She will explain what VUCA is, but literally, VUCA also means wake up. So, in other words, in my own translation, she will train the teachers how to know how to be awake in this world. That's my definition. She will come with our. Please, let's focus. Let's wake up. Please hand of applause. Over to you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, colleagues. My name is Sophia Ikingi, and I will present on the training teachers for the VUCA award. So he has already tried to give us a background of what VUCA is. So he was right indeed. Right. So he was saying about the teacher training were then intensified by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. And then while we know that the term uncertainty is not a novel concept, so the level of uncertainty created by the COVID-19 pandemic then was unimaginable, especially in the education sector. So organizations like UNESCO and other educational organizations have emphasized the importance of preparing students for a VUCA world. So that means that volatility, uncertainty, complexity, as well as ambiguity. So that VUCA stands for that. So they emphasize the importance of when we are training our students, we have to train them in such a way that they are ready to face whatever they find outside there. Now, so the purpose of the study was just to explore the social emotional preparedness of the teachers in dealing with the disruptions that were brought by COVID-19 pandemic as a typical VUCA case. So COVID-19 pandemic on strike, so it became an example or it became a case of VUCA. So because if we have to look at how the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the education programs and so on, so we're really in a process. Now I had, or the study revolved around the two questions. So the first one, how is the social emotional preparedness of the teachers for the onset of VUCA world? And then the second one, how can teachers' readiness for a VUCA world be enhanced through teachers' training? And then to answer those questions, I used the crisis management model by Gonzalez, Herrero, and Pratt. So according to that model, so the crisis management is a way in which an institution reacts to difficulties and problems that arise. So the idea was to see how the teacher training institutions reacted to the crisis for the COVID-19, whether they were training teachers ready for the crisis that they will find outside in there or out in the field. And then, so the COVID pandemic now becomes a crisis that needed also an immediate management. So institutions and schools might be, so by looking at the things, were not that prepared to respond to such crisis, so hence emotional distress among teachers. So especially those novice teachers, when they started teaching in 2019 and 2020 somewhere there, they didn't know what to do because of the disruption that were brought up by the COVID-19. So the crisis management allowed this study then to uncover the social emotional preparedness of teachers in dealing with the disruptions advanced by COVID-19 pandemic as a typical VUCA case. So it was a quantitative study with a case study design. So purposeful sampling was used on 10 novice teachers. So those novice teachers are named those that started in 2019. So probably those that have in total 3 or maybe 4 teaching years experience. And then it was done to 4 different educational regions in Namibia. So the data were collected using the open-ended questionnaires that were sent to those novice teachers via emails. So data were analyzed using the thematic analysis method and then by establishing themes. So the findings. So the study finds out that COVID-19 apparently altered the teaching and learning environment by inducing stress, fear, anxiety, and a sense of loss of control among teachers. So there were the novice teachers, they didn't know what to do. So they were really in trouble and stressed and everything, but they didn't know what to do in terms of how to respond to when the crisis strike. So they lacked the emotional capacity to confront the disruptions presented by COVID-19 pandemic to their work. So one of the items that they have identified was workload increase due to double shifts. We know that learners were divided into groups. So group 1 was going to school maybe on Monday, group 2 on Tuesday, so it was double shift. And then it caused them emotional distress. So the transition also from the classroom to the virtual realm caused technological difficulties and emotional burdens on these novice teachers. So some of them using technology was new. So they were taught in those traditional classes using the traditional methods. And then when COVID-19 struck, they were taught now to use the online learning and so on. So some of them, so it was really difficult because they were not advanced in using technology. So as a result, they had to learn to deal with unfamiliar technologies. So some of them, it's not like that they were not very familiar. They were familiar maybe with the use of the laptops and so on, but they struggle now to integrate technology into their teaching practice. So they were now forced to work on their own with minimal assistance from the experienced teachers. Because we know when you are at school, you are new, you're supposed to be assigned to a person who is more experienced to guide you. Now they were just out there on their own, so it was really a struggle to them. So that means that overall, the training of teachers was faced by instructional hardships, especially institutions, and students were less emotionally prepared to study under the VUCA conditions as brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. So, in conclusion, so the current teacher training appears to be inadequate in preparing teachers for VUCA times. So as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, it was impossible now for those teachers to avoid feeling of anxiety, worry, uncertainty, and despondency, because they were just alone out there. So as teachers are the driving force behind the development of social emotional skills in classrooms, it is important to address their own social emotional competency and well-being, as this impacts their learners as well. So that means that if they are stressed in their classes, so the teaching and learning will not take place because they are not concentrating on the teaching and the learning anymore. So COVID-19 unexpectedly altered the teaching and learning process, prompting both parties to make dramatic adjustments to cope with their circumstances. Both learners and teachers needed now to make those changes in order to cope with the crisis. Now, the paper recommends that the social, emotional competency should be prioritized in the teacher training. So at least in the curriculum, so we must include something that will make or that will prepare teachers when they are going out there, so they are ready to face whatever crisis. So because education will not stop because of the crisis, but they will be just, or they will be ready to change or to make necessary changes as a result of the whatever crisis. So the teacher training should enable and develop the social emotional competencies of teachers through the use of variety techniques, such as mindfulness, stress management techniques, case studies, and teamwork around issues that can arise in education during times of uncertainty, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. So you can also use strategies that teachers might employ in different times to facilitate teaching and learning, include, like, for example, being familiar with studies on crisis management and using digital support system. So the case studies we can learn from other countries that are always tracked by different crises. So we can use those examples and then we'll see how we can apply them in our context, depending on what crisis strike us. So those are the references that I have used. And I thank you.
Thank you very much. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, sorry, that's my signature. When I say wonderful, say wonderland. Thank you so much for that beautiful and straightforward presentation. Indeed, I think VUCA is the VUCA of our time. I think VUCA is just everywhere. You can't live without VUCA. Back in the days when you lost data, you will not go to ICU. Now you lose data because you're in VUCA. Thank you very much, Doctor. Another applause. Questions, comments? I have got, please just introduce yourself when you have the mic. We've got one over the other one. Yes, and we've got on my far right there. Maybe we take another one, 3 more, I mean 1 more. Then I have got also another, I don't want to mention these because you will introduce yourself. Yes, let's start over there, then we go up there, and then we end here in chat.
Good morning, colleagues. I'm Dr. Alubi, and I'm the previous department. Thank you, Doug, for your presentation. And what I followed, you looked at the sampling, and you looked at the criteria which you used. And you said you looked at the number of experience when it comes to those teachers, which is 3 years and 4 years. Now, what I would like to find out is that, looking at that criteria only, do you think that it can circulate in terms of informing your study? Because it might be 3 years to 4 years in experience, but these teachers, they were trained from the same institution. I'm of the opinion that maybe for further study, what they look also at the biographical for these particular participants, so that we can look at or we can conclude to say, yes, institutions of higher learning are not doing much. Because if all of us are from institution A, and I have 4 years experience, and my colleague here 4 years experience, and you conclude that institution of higher learning, they are not doing much, then it might not well inform the study, because all of us are from the same institution. I think it's higher time that we look at biographical information, the institution where they're trained, and then go back down, look at also their basic education, because also it can inform where I completed my grade 12 and so on, and other factors that might contribute or might have an impact on that. And that's my take on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. You just unlocked my mind on that area. So because I'm still waiting for other regions to send their They want to send me back their question here, so I can still go back and look at that area. So what they say.
My mic lady was disturbed. She's refueling. I don't know if she's still doctor. Yeah, okay. I think she is a full tank now. Wonderful. To our students also, I see we have students in our midst. Please, you are welcome to the research day of the faculty. Please stay tuned, learn, because the future is within research. Wonderful. What is it?
Thank you, Doc, for excellent presentation. I think mine, you will also go to your participants. I think the rationale for novice teacher, and looking at your title of your presentation, which is training teachers for the Booker Award. I think when you look at the word Booker, I think which is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. I think teachers need to be proactive to deal in terms of learning strategies and approaches, and maybe the use of ECT and all that. So I think maybe if you want to expand this study, I'll rather suggest that you include all categories of teachers, because we are lifelong learners. So I think the justification, I'm a little bit concerned with the justification for using novice teachers. I think you can look into that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'll definitely look at that.
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, Doc. Thank you for the presentation, well spoken on. When you started presenting, my mind kept on going to learners, because I am like, it's an opportunity that anyone who wants to do similar research to do this on learners, because we're learners prepared for this Booker times, Booker events. This is a comment for any one of us in the same area who would like to branch into studying how this affected the learners. But my other comment was and is on the timelessness of this study. And I would just maybe add or say differently how my colleagues said earlier, that looking at teachers who just started their teaching career and then COVID struck. While they were supposed to battle with the realities of teaching as new teachers, then an additional burden was added to their new career, that they learn to teach in these uncertain times, face more challenges than the normal challenges that every new teacher would face. For me, for a specific study, which definitely can be expanded, should need be, this is timely and is coming.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause to Dr. Tindi. Thank you very much. We are still under the theme post-COVID-19 era, re-engagement and building sustainable triple pelvic skin tertiary education. And I think that also really brings in a very important aspect into how we can further collaborate, further do research, because VUCA is here to stay. Even at home, parents, at home when there's no Wi-Fi, people will be moody, people will be catchy. You can't just say shift is an offense because the internet is off. So that's the VUCA aspect we are living in. Whereby now, internet has become now a what? Common necessity. It's like when you get it off, you become a little stressed. You need to be what it is. Just oh, wake up. Otherwise, Muta will really, take you by surprise. Yes, let me just run through our next presenters. From henceforth, we are going to have Ms. Chekolina Stobo-Kalime. Please get ready. After Ms. Chekolina, we'll have Dr. Julia Idongo, and then we'll have Prof. Veronica Sunday. All right, in that order, please. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move on with our presentations, allow me to invite Ms. Chekolina Kalime. Okay, so Kalime, a lecturer also in the languages, and her topic is, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, tune in to the session day by today. And the topic is unpacking the role of universities in rebuilding the post-COVID world. And unpacking, let's engage, we are unpacking. All right? So, men, over to you. I think, what's the presentation?
Yeah, it's on no, okay, sorry. This one.
Another end of applause, please.
Good morning, colleagues. I'll be observing the protocol that was set by the former speakers. My name is Paulina Kalime, and I'm here to give my presentation. Now, gender-based violence, high inflation rate, lack of access to quality education, poor mental health, and lack of international mobility are just some of the are just some of the issues that are affecting us during the COVID era, as well as during the post-COVID era. Now, when I started doing this research, I was very ambitious. I know the university is a place where we are creating knowledge and solving issues. So I set out to see solutions that can help us eradicate all these problems that I just listed. But the more I study, the more I come back to the central theme or central aim of a university, which is providing quality education that is backed by research. Therefore, there's a slight change in my title. So now my title is titled Strengthening the Forced Normal of Online Education to Rebuild the Post-COVID-19 Era. So what did I want to achieve with this study? The COVID-19 crisis has affected societies and economies around the globe and has permanently reshaped the world as we view it. The fallout from the crisis has amplified familiar challenges as well as unfamiliar challenges. And all these unfamiliar challenges call for a systematic development of the workforce that we need to produce now. So using selected literature produced as a response to COVID-19 in university, during the COVID-19 era. This desktop study set out to illustrate how universities can strengthen and utilize the first new normal, which is online learning, to rebuild the post-COVID-19 world. So I did desktop study in my abstract. I mentioned 20, but I have gone on to many since then. And I realized that one of the ways that we can eradicate most of the issues that we have now in the world is to capitalize on online learning, which we used during COVID-19 as a forced normal, but now post-COVID-19, it shouldn't be a forced normal. So we should look out for ways that we can strengthen this forced normal so that it can become the new normal. So the central question of the paper, how can universities strengthen online education so that it can be used to rebuild the post-COVID world? So there were various answers that I found through this research, but 7 stand out from all the different papers that I read, but they were consolidated by that paper, Zhang and Huang, 2022, who identified 7 ways that universities can strengthen online education to rebuild the world. Now, going forward in my study, I based my study on those 7 ways, not just what Zhang and Huang are saying, but also looking at what other writers are saying on each of those focus areas. Now, the first area is, as a university, we need to explore the new normal of blended teaching and learning. That is the first thing that we should be able to do. Now, I've given some studies that have focused on that, but I want to focus on number 2. So one of the ways that we can strengthen blended learning is by transforming the traditional physical classroom into physical cyber space as a new social network. You know, we are not going to do away with our traditional learning, but we need to transform them so that they can become virtual physical space where we are offering quality education to solve the current issues that we are facing as a result of COVID-19. Other things, they are important, but because of time, I will leave them. And then the next area of focus, universities should develop asynchronous online teaching resources. So now during the first normal, we were doing both asynchronous and synchronous online teaching. They are both good, and we both know their advantages and disadvantages. But one of the advantages of asynchronous education, online education, is the fact that it allows our students to learn at their own pace. And given the context that Namibia finds itself, which is a developing country where we do not have enough resources, such as internet, university putting resources in developing asynchronous online education can really help us provide better education to our students. So I want to focus on the second aspect of the how. One of the how we can strengthen our asynchronous online teaching resources is through partnering with each other. By each other, I mean other universities, as well as the government and the private sector, to create MOOCs. massive online open courses, so I have given a link to explain that in the next slide. So going to that link, you can find, for example, 3 online courses that these ones are from Harvard, that we at university like NAS can blend into our own courses. So this is cost effective and it allows us to use resources from other universities that are maybe ahead of us and we can learn a lot from. So going on that, you can find all those 3 courses that you can blend into your own courses. The other area is we need to build the training system of information-based teaching capability for teachers. This one is just we need to make sure that our teachers or lecturers are aware that online education or e-learning is no longer an option, it's a necessity. So we do this already as a university through our TLU unit. So it just needs to be strengthened. Moving on to the next area, use online education to accelerate the globalization of higher education. So through my desktop research, I found out that one way that we can strengthen online education is through the continuation of the globalization of education that we did during the COVID-19 era. Before COVID, we were not doing research conferences online. We needed money to travel to conferences. We were not doing students exchange, taking courses. Students were not taking courses from other students online, but we have realized that that is possible. So we need to continue doing it and taking examples of how it was done in these studies. I'm coming to the end quickly. So then we have another area which is strengthen research on online education using big data. Now, online education is happening. The good thing is that the data of how it is happening it is readily available. So as universities, we need to study that data so that we can keep improving it so that it can become better. And the second last focus area is the construction of the new infrastructure needed for online learning. So as universities, we need to focus on making sure that we have infrastructures that can help us to provide online learning that is of international quality. So now we need to invest in proper elements, cybersecurity, data privacy, better cable so that our cable service is not going out when we are in the middle of lessons. And then the last one is we need to invest in virtual laboratory, virtual reality, and augmented reality. It's a good thing because NAST, we are ahead of the game. That just happened on the 3rd of this month, where our colleagues from the Faculty of Computing, together with the students, have designed an augmented reality in collaboration with Deb Marine that is allowing students to view how diamonds are processed while they are in their classrooms. And the final thing is we need to promote equity in education through online education. If we do all the other 6 areas, but we are not making sure that this online education is available to everyone, then online education cannot help us solve the issues that we are facing because it is discriminatory. So we need to make sure that people like women are given access, or they are given better opportunities so that they can be part of this awesome online education that we are using in the post-COVID world. So in conclusion, this presentation argues that one of the roles that universities can play in reviewing the post-COVID world is through the strengthening of online education that was post-normal, using the 7 areas of attention that university can focus on to strengthen online education is outlined by Young and Kwan, and also supported by other researchers. The paper reviews 7 focus areas proposed by them. The paper concluded that is systematically done as directed by the selected literature. Online education has the potential to change the world and make changes in the world and solve the issues that we experience as a result of COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause. Online can make you reach the, any classroom in the world. That's what it's been. You have a person walking in the peripheries of Namibia, and they tell you, I'm a Harvard student, I'm a Yale student, but they are in the peripheries of Namibia, in the village, but they are able to tap into that classroom and, of course, get knowledge, skills, and even the qualifications. Thank you very much. Yes, any questions or comments? We have got one here. Second, anybody else with a question or comment? Colleagues, sometimes just got to encourage the person. Yeah, I just want to encourage you to teach very well. We need that. I just want to be open. Yeah, it's a bit very nervous. Next time we look at it. So just say it very well. That's all. Very well, a blessed age. Thank you so much. We have it and thank you so much, bro. Wonderful. Over to you.
Thank you, Director. Clayton Pino from the Department of Communication. Ms. Hanina, I just want to encourage you. You did very well. I want to zone into the fact of multiple sites in this blended learning scenario. What I mean by that is the technology gives us the opportunity to be face class, but also be serving simultaneously students at multiple sites in a manner or anywhere else. And I wonder if you were able to reflect on the difficulty that presents for the teacher, for the lecturer, in the sense that we are supposed to be pursuing student-centered learning. Now, if it's an entirely online environment, there's a way in which, even though there are multiple sites, and focus on screen, try and get to know people, you can break them up into different rooms, etc. But this convergence of the face-to-face, on-site, and other sites seems to me to have this kind of classification of education, cost effectiveness has been mentioned in earlier presentation. And just from my view, the potential to compromise that students say. I don't know if you reflect on that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that is true. Going through this study, I was looking for not that specific question, but questions like that, because online education, as much as it has ample advantages, it also have a lot of disadvantages too. So I think why I have not responded on that exact question, I think this is where the issue of research on online education comes in, so that yes, there are these difficulties, but maybe we need to get engaged and see and come up with solutions on how we can attend or minimize this disadvantage. And no, Doc, you are not wrong. It is right, and I would want to spend more time studying that exact question that you just mentioned, and many other, because one of the issues that I've seen also is where people are talking about the quality of education might go down with online education. So which might be true sometimes and not true sometimes. And as I say, that is where we need to spend more time to find solutions to these issues. Yeah, thank you, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for your excellent presentation and effort put into this research. I just have a comment, not question for you. And to support your research, I see there's prospects in what you're doing. And I think we just have to have a meeting where we can take this further for possible publication. I think we are looking at post-COVID now. I think reputable journals are no longer interested in COVID-related publication. I'm sorry, it's also part of that. That is part of our research team for the college research team. But you might need to put this down, write this down. I think if you come up with a title on stimulating creativity and innovation through meta education will interest a lot of journals. So I'll take that.
Sorry, sir, I need to go.
Okay. We can do that together.
Can I just bounce you up there?
Yeah, it's just, the title can go as stimulating creativity and innovation through meta education. Stimulating creativity and innovation through meta education. Then we can take that for that. That will interest anybody. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much. Another round of applause, please. This everything about us here, technically, and for our colleagues and fellows and students online, please send a message. Should you have any question or comment, please you may raise your hand. I think we are able to hear you. Should you unmute yourself? Please, we don't want to leave you out. You are part and parcel of this wonderful research day. I saw a hand over there. Anyway, I think I can do this one. Then you can. Wonderful.
Thank you. I started ceremony. My name is National Kukrepashis. I'm the Department of Communication, and actually my comment was towards Ms. Kadime, just to say I really like her research. I'm particularly, what I found particularly interesting was the kind of newer infrastructure as components to education. Interested in virtual classrooms, having been in a virtual classroom myself, but also seeing the opportunity of that closing a lot of gaps given the many centers that the university have. I also was interested in the infrastructure, especially on the gender dimensions that her research has set out. I also want to a certain extent, just to I don't know if this passes what Dr. Peel has mentioned to creating a learner-centered focus in the education. Suppose we create this virtual classroom with students, post-student or current students, and making sure that it becomes relevant, but also still speaks to the nature of the students that we're targeting. So thank you, Ms. Kanima. This was very interesting. Thank you.
Another round of applause. It feels very good when my colleagues acknowledge the preliminary work that you've done, and also it gives you courage to move forward. Research is a process. I think seniors who are here with me will agree that's the process. I think seniors who are here, if you can look at your work that you've done first and where you are, you can say that, yeah, sometimes you even say, what was I thinking here? But at the very moment when you did that, it was the best at that moment. But along the way, time also brings along with many other collaborations, many other experiences, and even in the writing style, presentation style, all those things. So it is really a process. So when we get such comments, it really just, I'm also saying this for Ms. Kanima also, so yeah. It just makes it very beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for those who have joined us. You have joined the research with the Faculty of Human Sciences, Faculty of Commerce, Human Sciences and Education, and we are under the theme post-COVID-19 era, re-engagement and building sustainable triple helix in tertiary education. So dear students, you are also welcome. I saw some of you walking in. And colleagues also will just more than welcome to the day. We actually on our presentations of papers and research aspects, and now on our program we have Dr. Julia Inambo, also from the languages, who will talk on investigating metrolingualism. I need to bilingualize myself. Investing metrolingualism in online social space in an. Don't you just want to see what is metrolingual? By the time she's done presenting, we are metrolingualized, also we are able to know where we are going. Okay, thank you very much. We are waiting for the metro. I forgot to again. This the access of the team is just due to another committee who are actually visiting our campus from another. Yes. So please make her presence very back soon and in short. Doctor.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Julia Inambo, doctor. I am here to give my presentation. Before Theophilina and Hindi, the presenter, not the presenter, the MC mentioned something interesting. He said, when you are at home and you don't have Wi-Fi, everybody will be like,